Everyone, as promised, here's a little video about over-the-counter hearing aids and what you should consider as you start your hearing journey. So the FDA put out guidelines and reclassified the hearing aid category to now include products that can be sold over the counter. So you're going to find these in likely the pharmacy area of a store or where they sell other ear-related products. That's where at least I've seen them. Some things you want to think about though. First and foremost, over-the-counter hearing aids are not a bad thing. The way I have thought about this and in doing my own research, it's kind of like a pair of readers that you might buy over the counter. It sort of gets you by, it helps you with your vision in the short term, but then once your vision gets poor enough, it's time for a prescriptive pair of glasses, and then that's what takes you to the eye doctor to get them checked and a more formal prescriptive pair. Over-the-counter hearing aids I kind of see as the same thing. It's just a stepping stone to what eventually you'll likely need is a prescriptive pair of hearing aids. They are helpful. You do want to be aware that they are meant for folks who have a self-perceived mild to moderate hearing loss. So you do well in quiet, maybe a few times you have to ask for repetitions. You struggle more in noise than you do in quiet. You might need the TV a little bit louder. That would be kind of appropriate signs or symptoms that an over-the-counter hearing aid might be good for you. If you feel like quiet situations are also a struggle and you can't understand or hear what people are saying, then this may not be the right option or pathway for you, and you may need to get a prescriptive pair of devices. Now, there are many different brands like Jabra, Sony, HP has an over-the-counter device. There's a company called Lexi has something. Sennheiser is coming out with a device or an over-counter hearing aid as well. So you've got some big names in the tech industry that have products available. First and foremost, in looking at all the different brands that are available for purchase, the dollar amount that you will be spending is still pretty high. This actually was something that surprised me, and I was a little sad to sort of see, since that was a big topic of conversation when over-the-counter hearing aids sort of started to be discussed in the industry and in just public health, was the cost barrier. If you go back to my unbundling and bundled delivery model video, it kind of unpacked that a little bit for you about pricing. But these devices are anywhere from like $800 to $2,000. And what I mentioned before, and I'll repeat again, the devices themselves do not cost $3, $4, $5,000. An invoice cost of a device is going to range anywhere I've seen from $200 up to $1,400. So when you look at devices compared over the counter versus a prescriptive pair, the devices themselves are equally priced. Over the counter is not much cheaper than what you're getting with a prescriptive pair of hearing aids. Again, what the differences are and what the added costs are when you're looking at a prescriptive pair has to do with services. So essentially what you're paying for in an over-the-counter hearing aid is a similar device to what you might find as the prescriptive in a prescriptive pair. You just don't have access to someone or a clinic who to help provide you, help support you in that purchase. A lot of the companies do offer telehealth, so you have access to an audiologist on call that you can reach out to help with the orientation, depending on sort of the level that you might buy with your over-the-counter. Sometimes that's included, sometimes it's not. So those would be things you want to look at when you're looking at different over-the-counter devices is obviously cost, battery, is it disposable or rechargeable, the trial period, what's the return policy, again, maybe some features that are available. Can it be customizable? Are you able to perform a hearing test through the device? Or is it something that you're just kind of taking off the shelf and it has some preset programs in there? That's going to make a difference too. If you have the ability to get a device that allows you to test your hearing, that's going to be a little bit more customizable and appropriate than something that's just kind of off the shelf, fitting that range of mild to moderate losses. So you want to think about that. Again, don't think that these are incredibly cheap. It's still an investment, and Yeah, again, not much cheaper than a prescriptive pair. The difference is in the services that you're adding with a prescriptive pair. So yeah, so that those are some things to think about. The hearing tracker, I'm going to post a link as well. They do a nice job of outlining some of the pros and cons of each of the devices. Some of these devices are even available to audiology clinics. So speaking for our clinic, we have access to Jabra. We have access to Sennheiser here shortly once it's formally released to clinics. They just released it, I think, a week ago, so it's still pretty new. I don't have a whole lot of information on it yet, but yeah, you can even get some of those things from audiology clinics, which if that's an option or you have that availability near you, I would suggest doing that. That way at least you have some professional support or guidance in getting something that's quality. And then speaking for Nashville's Hearing and Communication Center, regardless of whether you would get an over-the-counter device through our clinic or at a Walgreens, we are happy to support you in any way we can. So if you're not fully satisfied with your device, you're not quite ready to make that jump to a full service or prescriptive pair, we can certainly take a look at the device, verify it, see how it's programmed, look at the app, help you optimize your purchase, help you optimize that device as best we can. So that way it can be helpful to you as possible while you're using that device. And then any questions, we're happy again to help support you in any way that we can. So again, over-the-counter devices, not a bad thing, just higher price points than I was hoping that I would see as devices are being released. Equitable in price, whether it's an over-the-counter or a prescriptive pair, when you're looking at devices only cost. Differences is the service again. Look for, again, just recapping, look for battery power, look for your return policy, look for different features, try to get a device that allows you to test hearing. I didn't mention this yet, but these are meant for adults, so anyone 18 years or younger, this is not recommended for you. If you have a history of ear-related issues, then I would again suggest that you get into a clinic first before pursuing. Make sure there aren't any other medical contraindications that would make you not a candidate for an over-the-counter device. Yeah, so leave questions in the comment section. Again, reach out to our clinic if you have any other questions or want to set up a meeting to talk about this more fully. Happy to do so. And yeah, hopefully that helps a little bit when you're thinking about whether to go prescriptive or over the counter, and let us know how we can help.